What's up, everybody? My name's Robert, and today I just wanted to talk about something that was on my mind for a while. But before we start, I just want to say this is going to be my first video on the new channel. I'm excited to be with you guys. Without thinking anymore, let's get into it. Level 60. Mamma mia! On level 60, you are placed on a well-constructed concrete pathway. And basically, I've been looking at this for a while, and it's very interesting how smilers are the entity for this round. Not because they're smilers, because of how unique they act. But before we go into the entity category, let's continue with talking about how this level is structured. So basically, before you can even make it in this area, it says here on the level 60 Wikipedia that determined by the Meg Foundation, with the help of the Brave Foundation, they figured out that a person spawns in this area after drowning in the sea. So any level with a sea location brings you to here. And so going back to this, basically, you're told and advised to be very careful on this pathway and to not really walk on the concrete pathway since a lot of entities can be seen here. Another thing that really sparks some confusion for me is that it says here that in 2020, on September, a man by the name of Almon Dextra was drowned in level 85 and is said to have came back to this level. What I mean by came back, he didn't actually come back. He's never been in this level before. But somehow he went back levels. And it seems like you can only get here by teleporting. So it's not as if you go level by level, but instead this level is skipped unless you drown, which makes this level even more interesting. Before we continue talking about the level, I would also like to suggest and say how it also states that there seems to be this type of breeze that comes from this long pathway of pavement that is said to have came from the ocean that you can't get to in this level, which is very odd. But it is suggested that what it does is it gets you very relaxed and calm, even though there are plenty of smilers lurking everywhere around you. And so it's considered and called painless death. Segment 1, upper area. So right when you get into level 60, you're going to be presented into segment 1. And normally I wouldn't cover too much on this, but this one is very unique. Basically, the lights do not work properly. So there are lights, however, it won't work that well. And to make things worse, not only does this place basically not allow you to see anything because of how dark it is, you also have to focus on your water and food supply, since it doesn't provide any. And through all that darkness and food supply lackage, you also have to focus on smilers being left and right around you. And going back to what I said earlier, the painless death effect, which makes you very calm, is said to have been the strongest in this upper area where you start in. However, you are able to escape it if you are with other individuals, since you guys can talk to each other and think as a group. That somehow takes away that painless death feeling. But if you're by yourself, good luck. And if you're somehow curious where the smilers are, they are mostly located in the light areas. So if you ever want to survive, you're gonna have to walk in the dark. But if you do find a staircase, it will always lead to a safer part, which is going to be our next topic, the lower area. Once you make it to the lower area, this is going to be very different from the upper area. You will still have a pavement road ahead of you, except now things will be more different since the construction will not have been done, so the roads will not be fully built, and there will be errors in the building of the floors. So basically, the lower area is completely opposite to the upper level. Instead, it's way more small, and it's filled with equipment. And luckily, it does not have any creatures lurking around. So this is a perfect place where you can get ready and be safer. And instead of the lower area being pavement like the upper area, instead it looks like unfinished construction and has more of a dirt path. But the only problem that you would have in this level is falling off into the sea. If you do fall off into the sea, you don't have a second chance. I just figured out that if you do fall into the water, there were 7 reports of people who did fall into the water. And so 2 of them went into level 7. The other one was able to get back to the lower segment, and the rest were discovered dead in the sea. Yet there are no ideas on how it happened for the dead people. Well, basically, that's a wrap of what level 60 is. It's very interesting and very subnormal, but I love talking about it. Either ways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, good night, whatever time you have, and have a good one. Bye-bye.